Welcome to Vision ProNotes. I'm Marty, a faculty member at a Midwest University, podcaster and an Apple product fan, and also co-host of Vision Profiles, along with Eric Bolden, Dave Ginsburg, and Daniel Burkholder. You know, ProNotes we're going to drop in bits of news as they happen during the week. Generally, we try to hit them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. Frankly, the last 2 weeks have been really null with information regarding Vision Pro. But last couple of days, a story we cannot not talk about because it just keeps reflecting through the internet. And this story was a story that started with Bloomberg and Mark Gurman, of course, as they always start. Apple shelves Vision headset to revamp to prioritize Meta-like AI glasses. So there's a lot of bolstering in this article, and we'll get to that in a minute. There are some claims in here. When you read the article, it feels like the author, Mark Gurman, is trying to generate this battle between Apple and Meta in terms of who's going to win now the glasses war that's going to happen. There are some other articles that are available, and this one actually got from Quartz, and it is associated with the stock information on Apple, because I was going to look at the stock, and this is where I saw it outside of the Bloomberg area. This is where I saw the news about Apple, and so this stuff coming out of Bloomberg is now reflecting to Quartz, and it's also reflecting to Reuters. So Reuters has picked this story up and kind of run with it. And then also The Verge has picked this story up and run with it. So it's very hard to avoid as a story to say Gurman and Gurumers have started storyline here that basically Apple is moving, and with some evidence, Apple is moving its staff and its engineers and the people responsible for the version 2 of the Vision Pro headset over to kind of the glasses development in it. And because they're looking for a major revamp of Vision Pro, now that means that they're prioritizing the AI smart glasses. It used to be we're going to get a Vision Pro, which we have. Then we're going to get maybe a Vision Pro with new hardware in it. And there's particularly processors. And there's no reason to believe that that's still not going to happen. That's all they're going to do is switch out the chips. It's doing well in terms of enterprise. It's selling well on the market, but it is not a public kind of product that people are going to shell out money for. So they're kind of prioritizing, or the article says they're going to prioritize getting the glasses out before Vision Pro 2. Originally, it was going to be Vision Pro 2 was coming out and then the glasses. Now they might be doing a Vision Pro with, again, these new processors in it, but that seems to be independent of this shift. This happened, as I mentioned, a Bloomberg article, Apple shelves Vision headset revamp to prioritize Meta-like AI smart glasses. And why this matters, Apple's reallocating resources from a lighter, cheaper Vision Pro variant towards a AI smart glasses kind of variant, aiming strictly and directly at Meta and Meta's market, which are not as technically sophisticated hardware as what you see with the Vision Pro, but still they're looking at trying to capture some of those folks over, those consumers over. So it's a mainstream path. Smart glasses could reach a broader price point and use cases for folks like hands-on capture, voice and on-device AI, and moving more mainstream in terms of the market. There's competitive pressure, as I mentioned, from Meta's Ray-Ban and Oakley lines. They're selling, but they're not device heavy in terms of what it can do. It can take pictures, it can take video, and it can respond to some voice on commands. It can play music, but that's about it. There's no display action or no computing action, although Meta claims they're coming out with a display version in the future. Apple's been really preparing for a lighter model of Vision Pro, but now is kind of prioritizing that. So the Vision Pro Revamp has kind of been paused in lieu of getting these glasses out. There are potentially 2 glass tracks that they talked about, an iPhone tethered one, which they tried, and that Apple supposedly did not like the fact that the glasses were physically tethered to an iPhone. And then there's one that is the non-tethered version that might use iPhone resources or might not use iPhone resources, sort of like a watch. The focus of the Apple glasses is going to be AI and voice with voice at the center. Expect an emphasis on those voice interactions and a chip that's in there that can optimize on-device AI, which is what Apple's been doing with their chip design and with their most recent chips. Vision Pro is not dead. There will most likely be a Vision Pro 2. There might be a in-between upscaled chip version of Vision Pro, which is what we've been hearing about. But it's not dead. It's doing so well in the enterprise portion, and for folks who want to be able to do kind of portable computing on their head with a visual screen in them, the Vision Pro is still the way to go with that. What you might see is kind of a breakout where you have, as we saw with the MacBook, you had the MacBook, then you kind of saw a split off to the MacBook Air, which is a lighter version, still capable of doing a lot of the work that the MacBook could do. But then you have expanded to a MacBook Pro. So we could be looking at sort of a 2-tiered process for glasses and headset in the future. So a person goes into a store, they're going to make that decision like they'd make with a iPhone Air and an iPhone Pro Max or a MacBook Air and a MacBook Pro. They're going to have to make that decision in terms of best use case and what is the best what do they want to do with the device. We reported on Vision Profiles, I think it was last week, where we talked about some patents, one of them being an optical patent that will work automatically to adjust vision in the future glasses that Apple might produce. I think that's going to be really cool, and I think it is maybe one of the things that will set ahead the Apple glasses from Meta glasses in the future. So for users, glasses could deliver everyday wearable stuff like phone calls, capture, notifications, and AI assistants with less bulk on as a headset would be. For developers, shifting the effort towards lightweight, glanceable, voice-first experiences rather than intensive, immersive 3D scenes. So Apple developers and people who are developing for Apple will have sort of another platform to work with. And then the ecosystem, again, if Apple ships both, you have the potential for a expanded choice point in terms of VR headsets, VR glasses. So that's really kind of cool. Now, Meta's leading it, but I don't know. They talked about expanding to Oakley and how basically that was not a functional change in their glasses. It was just a design change in their glasses. The Meta glasses have not evolved very much over the last couple of years that they've been out. I know because I have an original version of them, and every time a new model comes out, I want to see what are they doing, and they're not doing anything spectacular right now. Although Meta has tossed out those examples and that prototype that was non-functional and people couldn't use or try, but supposedly was able to do all of these different things. The takeaways from this for our listeners is smart glasses are likely Apple's next near-term spatial push with AI, voice, and as the core operating system and functionality for that. So expect a 2-tiered ecosystem, glasses for daily wear, headset for immersive work or creative types things rather than just one large device that's expensive. Well, thanks for listening to ProNotes. Again, you can listen to the full show on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Find us on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@vision profiles. And the gang will be together. This will be one of the articles that we'll talk about. You can also email us at thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com. And you can find out everything about the different projects we're doing and connections to the different podcasts and YouTube channels by going to thepodtalk.net. Thanks for listening or viewing, and we'll see you next time.